Okay. Wow, Wirecast, you are very complicated to use. Oh man. Okay. Can we please get back to the live stream? Okay, here we go. What's up, guys? So, welcome to this live stream. I think I found the optimum or ultimate settings for Wirecast Pro. I just got it, so I'm learning the ropes on Wirecast. So let's make sure that it doesn't mess up, and it looks like it's holding ground pretty well. All right, cool. So I bought the DJI Mavic. Okay, it didn't arrive yet, I know, so don't moan and complain about that. But I want to let you know why I bought it and what I'm going to do with the rest of my drones. And I think this is a question that's going to pop up in a lot of people's minds, because guess what? I have a ton of equipment, and sometimes you got to make that decision whether or not you should toss the equipment or keep it. So let's talk about the drones I currently have, right? I have the unique Typhoon H, I have the DJI Phantom 4, and I have the DJI Inspire 1. Okay, now which drones am I going to keep and which drones am I going to toss? And because I have so many drones, I can't keep them all. It's just going to collect dust. Portable, and compared to the Phantom, compared to the Inspire 1, you can't even compare it because it's so, how do you say, it is just so compact. So you're going to be using it constantly. I'm just going to keep it basically in my car the whole time because I drive so much, and I'll just pull it out of my glove compartment and go for a flight. So I think that's really important. That's something you can't do with the DJI Phantom. It's something you can't do with the Inspire 1. I did buy it. I bought it actually earlier today. I ordered it, so it's supposed to arrive in early or mid-October. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to fly with it. I'm going to show you how quickly it is to set up. All you got to do is unfold the arms, take out the gimbal protector, boom, you can fly. All right. Okay, enough talk. Let's go about the specs. Okay, what are we expecting from the DJI Mavic? Well, first of all, we're expecting a extremely portable device that can fit in the palm of your hand. It can fit in big-sized jean pockets. Flight time, you get 27 minutes, exactly the same as the Phantom 4, give or take maybe a minute or two. You get basically the same speed as the Phantom 4. You get 40 miles an hour top speed. The Phantom 4 does about 44, 45 miles an hour. You get the same picture quality, except for the Phantom 4, you get a slightly wider angle view. Okay, the Mavic has a more narrower lens because it has to have a smaller lens since the whole camera body is smaller, right? So you have to keep that in mind. I saw test footage of the DJI Mavic, and I have to say that it looks phenomenal. It actually, I don't know what YouTube is doing, either compressing the footage or what it's doing, but DJI cameras, they have a slight issue when it comes down to noise, especially in the darker areas, in the shadows, and sometimes in the highlights. You can see this noise especially when you do quick pans with the camera. So if you look at the highlights, it's mainly going to appear in the shadows. But if you look at the shadows, you can see a ton of noise, and you can mainly see it only when you do quick pans. So I didn't see that with the DJI Mavic. I think they might have fixed some of the compression issues they might have had, because GoPro does not have this compression issue. However, the dynamic range on the DJI cameras are slightly better than GoPro, but GoPro doesn't have that compression issue. So with my DJI Osmo, with my DJI Inspire 1, and with my DJI Phantom 4, all of them had this weird compression issue. So if you have these drones, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil it for you. If you have these drones and you go for a flight, you are going to see very, you're going to see some not artifacting, but some noise in the shadow and sometimes in the highlights when you do quick pans. And surprisingly enough, the unique Typhoon H doesn't have this issue, but the Typhoon H has a huge problem with white balance. It's going to make everything a lot more orange. And because it's shooting at a smaller bit rate than the DJI cameras, it's going to be harder to fix in post-production. You're not getting as much data as you are with the DJI cameras. So keep that in mind. That's also something very, it's touchy. It's touchy. It's something. Okay. Next, for those of you who have the Phantom 4, should you upgrade? Should you get the DJI Mavic? I have to ask you a question. If you are going to travel a lot, if you're going to drive a lot, get rid of that Phantom 4 and get yourself a DJI Mavic. However, if budget is not an issue, I recommend always keeping a bigger drone and a smaller drone, because what if the winds pick up? Obviously, because the DJI Mavic is so small, it will not be able to. To 20-mile-per-hour winds. I think that's a very bad idea. So keep that in mind. You don't want to fly it in such high winds. The Phantom 4, however, can handle these high winds. And the DJI Inspire 1 is the king of handling winds because it's aerodynamic design. It's shaped like a bird. It's meant to handle such strong winds. Alright, so let's carry on. Another thing about the DJI Mavic. More sensitive. Sensors are more sensitive. So a unique thing, especially for beginners, the DJI Mavic, what it does, right before you take off, it takes a snapshot or a quick video of the ground before it takes off and stores it in its internal memory. So when you hit auto return home or auto land, it's going to match up that video it took to real time. So that nice landing, boom, this big, right? Make sure the plate has a little bit of a design. That way it can match the video to the actual plate. And it will land right on that plate. Again, that is something the Phantom 4 can't do. That's something that the Inspire 1 can't do. So that's what's happening. Okay, so keep that in mind. With the Phantom 4, man, a lot of people are asking me. I've been getting crazy amounts of emails ever since the launch. It's pretty funny. They're asking me, Josh, I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. Do I need to get rid of my Phantom 4? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? If you're a professional, I always recommend keeping at least 2 drones. One might fail. God forbid that happens. These quads are getting very, very reliable. But I always recommend having a king drone and a queen drone, right? The king is going to handle those tough areas, the tough environments. The queen drone is going to be the one that's really easy to set up and fly around, King and queen. You always got to get that king and queen in there. If you have the money, though, don't risk overspending money on this type of technology, because technology every year, it's expanding like crazy. It's growing like crazy. So you have to keep that in mind. The DJI Mavic is also the sensors underneath. The vision positioning sensors are no longer just vision positioning sensors. They're also obstacle avoidance sensors. So what this does is that when it's landing, it will sense and avoid obstacles. So it won't land in a tree. It won't land on the roof. It will land exactly where it took off because it will be avoiding. It will be avoiding. So it's great. So keep that in mind. DJI Mavic is $9.99. It is about $13.99 with the carry-on bag. So keep that in mind. So anyway, for those of you who just bought the Phantom 4, I apologize that the Mavic just came out, because there are some features about the Mavic that I see that are a lot better than the Phantom 4. But don't lose hope on the Phantom 4 yet. I'm sure there's going to be new firmware released for the Phantom 4, because it is going to improve firmware options, make it look better, make it have more features and all that good stuff. Now, another thing they put into the DJI Mavic's software is they also did terrain adjustment. So let's say you're doing the follow me feature and you're walking up a big hill. It's going to sense that hill, and it's going to actually adjust its altitude according to the incline of the hill. So if you're worried that the drone will stay at the same altitude while you're actually going up in altitude, don't worry. It's going to automatically adjust. Okay, it uses barometers, and it sees the mountain, and it has forward sense and avoid obstacle sensors. So sorry, I have sunburn on my neck and it's itching me. But you know, a portable drone for such a long time. I mean, take a look at the case I have for my Phantom 4. I mean, look at the size. Look at the size of this thing. Look at the size of this thing. It is massive. Absolutely massive. And I still consider this portable because I can fit it in the trunk of my car. And you can actually put the Phantom 4 in its original packaging and take it on the airplane. Okay, Dwayne Baker, thanks bro for asking this question. What about how much wind it can take? So the Mavic, I would not fly it in 20 mile per hour winds. I would probably maximum 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's what I would suggest. The Phantom 4 is bigger, more powerful motor, so it can actually go through a lot more wind. Okay, and the Inspire 1 does 40 mile per hour winds. So there is a huge jump there. But don't forget, the Inspire 1 is a completely different animal. The Mavic for that price is just incredible. If you're deciding between a Phantom 4 or a Mavic, and you haven't bought either of them yet, buy the Mavic. Seriously, buy the Mavic. I mean, you don't have to worry about putting it in such a huge case. You don't. You put it literally either in your pocket or in your glove compartment of your car. Or in your purse if you have a purse, or a fanny pack. Seriously, it can fit in all those different things. So that is such a huge advantage, and I think that you should really take that in consideration. The Phantom 4 right now is what, $1,200. The Mavic is $1,000. Is the Phantom 4 really worth that $200 jump? If you don't have the money, don't get the Phantom 4. Get the Mavic. I think you're going to get way more out of the Mavic. Now the remote controller system. Let's talk about the range. Let's talk about all of that. I ordered the iPhone 7 Plus, and it's supposed to actually arrive when the Mavic arrives. So that will be interesting to see how iOS 10, the iPhone 7, and the Mavic operate together. The remote controller is about this big. The joysticks are very small, but they feel like a little Game Boy. So I'm familiar with that. I had a whole bunch of portable game systems in my life. So I'm happy about that. And also, what I like about the new remote controller is that it gives you vibration feedback. So if you lose GPS signal, I know sometimes people are focused on the drone while flying, they're not really looking at the remote. It gives you vibration feedback when there is an error. Compass error, vibration feedback. GPS error, vibration feedback. So it gives you all of these vibration feedbacks, which I wish the older, Phantom 4 and the older DJI Inspire 1 had. Even the Typhoon H has vibration feedback. So I wish that it was on earlier models of DJI quadcopters, but I'm happy they made that jump to make the vibration feedback. Okay, Mavic camera sensor size is exactly the same as the Phantom 4. The only difference between the two camera is the focal length. I don't remember the focal length of each, but I know that the Phantom 4 has a wider lens than the Mavic. Okay, so let's keep talking here. Any questions I can answer about the DJI Mavic? The range is over 4 miles. That's 7 kilometers from a distance-wise. Alright, it's a different system. It's not called Lightbridge anymore. It's called OcuSync. I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's their new transmission system that they're using. I'm happy they changed the name from Lightbridge to, I'm happy they didn't go to Lightbridge 3. I'm happy they changed the whole system. I think that's a creative thing to do, but that's just my preference. So you get over 4 miles range. I think that's way too much for any average user. I think that DJI did it just to do it. So, yeah. Also, if you're having problems with my live stream, can you please let me know? Comment below if it's working. Comment below if it's not working. I'm testing it out and it looks like it is working, so please check it out. Make sure that it's working. I hope it is. Okay. Can anyone comment? Tell me if it's working or not. Alright, moving on. So, is there any difference between the video taken from the Mavic and the Phantom? Yes, the Phantom, of the test footage I've seen, the Mavic seems to it got rid of what is called the compression issue. Noise seems to be a lot cleaner on the Mavic camera. However, on the Phantom 4, you get a wider angle view. So what happens if you're a cinematographer or if you're just getting into the field, when you have a wider angle view, you see motion better and you get less vibration. So the Phantom 4, you could be going slower than the Mavic, but in the footage, it will look like you're going faster because you're seeing more. So you see motion a lot better. All right. So sensor size again is the same, and focal length is the only difference. Okay, Johnny Noble, very interested in purchasing the Mavic, but does the Phantom 4 still outperform it? When you talk about flight alone, the Phantom 4 does perform better. The Mavic, on the other hand, if you go fast enough, you will not see the propellers in your footage. So that is something you really got to think about. All right, I think that's something you gotta look out for. So in my opinion, I think the Mavic would take the cake. I mean, just that portability is it's winning my heart right now. Can the iPad Air 2 fit in the Mavic? No, iPad Airs cannot fit in the Mavic controllers. You will have to use a smartphone. So I think the largest size it would fit is an iPhone 7 Plus. And I actually ordered that, so I should be getting it the same time I get the Mavic. Hopefully I get it before Halloween, because that's my favorite holiday, and I'm sure I'll shoot something cool for that. Any more questions with the Mavic? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Now, again, with the Mavic, you do get the Sense and Avoid package, right? You get the 2 3D cameras in the front that determine depth and avoid obstacles, and when return to home is initiated, it flies back avoiding the obstacles, just like on the Phantom 4. The sensors are exactly the same, but the software is different. So the software, they added this new feature to the downward-facing sensors and made them sense and avoid sensors as well. So you can't land in a tree anymore. You could possibly do that with the Phantom, but not with the Mavic, because it knows what is a landing zone. Alright, so the Mavic is smarter than the Phantom 4. When you're talking about shooting modes, it comes with a wide variety of shooting modes, right? So let's talk about some of the shooting modes. Again, you get the standard shooting modes, you get ActiveTrack, you get computer sight, computer vision. It tracks everything autonomously. They upgraded the software on that. So now, not only is it more accurate when tracking, but you can actually use gestures to trigger the camera. So let's say you're by yourself and you're on this mountain doing something, shooting, whatever, and you want to let the drone fly away and you want to hide your remote controller because you want it to seem like someone else is taking your photo. All you got to do, set the controller down somewhere else, don't worry about it, and do a gesture, like a hand gesture, and it will take a selfie of you. And you don't have any weird things in the shot. No more remote controllers in the shot, no more tripods, whatever you may have. You don't need it. It's triggered by a gesture. So, sorry I had a floating head there for a second. But but yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And I think that's just such a cool addition to the software. And the Phantom 4 does not have that. Alright. Anything else I want to cover here? Just double checking the specs just to make sure I cover everything so I can go over any questions. Do you guys have any questions for me? Is it possible to use Android devices to view live video? Do you mean, is it possible to use Android with the Mavic? If so, then yes. Yeah, Dustin, clients are going to look at us and be like, what the hell is that? That looks like a Burger King toy. No, I mean, listen, I started off in my business using a tiny camera, little camcorder. But the results, with color grading and this and that, I made it look professional. And then, you gotta have. That's why I say in almost every single video, you gotta have your content published, because if your clients see the content you create, they're not gonna judge you. If they like your content, they're no longer gonna judge you. You're gonna be like, okay, come here with your gear, whatever you have, and shoot it exactly the way you've been shooting it. Boom. So yeah, as long as you got a demo reel, something to show your clients, you're fine. In the Mavic, I honestly, I wouldn't be scared to pull out the Mavic and be like, okay, this is my drone. I wouldn't. So I will be shooting music videos in the future with the Mavic, but what's going to be cool is that I'm going to probably be using the Mavic, Phantom 4, and Inspire 1 all at the same time. 3 drones from 3 different spots in the air. Imagine that. Because now even the DJI Inspire 1 is slightly autonomous, right? You can set waypoints, you can do follow me, but it doesn't have ActiveTrack. But I can make it so all 3 drones work together and have 3 different vantage points and getting the subject simultaneously in just 3 different angles. I think that's just something really cool. And when I get the Mavic, I'll be able to do that. However, I do go to Australia. I leave the country. I can leave the country a few times a year for work and for family, and I want to be able to take drones with me. And I originally thought that I could travel with the Phantom 4, but now with the Mavic, I don't even have to worry about taking overhead space. I can literally put the thing in my pocket and just go. Seriously. I got 2 pockets. One pocket's for my phone, one pocket's for my Mavic, back pocket's for my wallet. That's it. Or you can even want to go back to old school days, wear a fanny pack and put the Mavic in a fanny pack. I mean, you can't do that with the Phantom. And especially when I go hiking. I love to hike. The Phantom will be tough to take with you everywhere. It really will. You can put it in a backpack, but it's going to be bulky, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to do things. The map in a pocket and go hiking. So, I mean, it's stunning to see what drones have come to. Now let's talk about the GoPro Karma and the Unique Breeze 4K. Those are the other drones that are competing with this one. When the GoPro Karma came out, I literally was so excited. I was like, okay, DJI, you're in trouble. 2 weeks pass, Mavic comes out. I'm like, okay, GoPro, you're gonna go out of business. I mean, damn. The GoPro I do like about it is that it comes with a lot of people don't understand is that the GoPro Karma doesn't come with the GoPro camera. It just comes with the drone. So the drone is what? Let me double check price, right? It's the drone is including the stabilizer. I think it's 800 bucks, right? 800 bucks plus a $500 GoPro. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1300 bucks. And plus an extra, I think it's another 100 some bucks. So let's say 1450, right? GoPro did a very bad thing here because they should have anticipated DJI coming out. And I think that GoPro should have created its own proprietary camera for the Karma, because I think that a drone should be a complete package. You shouldn't have to buy a camera with a drone. It should all be together. It should all be a package. So I really didn't like the fact that with the GoPro Karma, I had to go buy a GoPro. I think that's just not a good thing here. Yeah, 3DR Solo. Are they still doing? Are they still out there? So the goggles. Unfortunately, FPV became illegal in California? I think everywhere in the nation. I think it's only allowed to be indoors now. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get the goggles because indoors for me is not as fun as outdoors. But yeah, the goggles are cool. I mean, it's two screens, and it gives you a really cool VR experience. Karma only has life if the optics and quality of image can top the Mavic. So Karma, I mean, it's GoPro's first drone. I'm not going to be too critical of them. It does fold. They did put the GoPro in front of the landing gear, which I really thought was a smart idea. I mean, they did do their research, and they included what is like the DJI Osmo in the package as well. So it's not too bad. I just don't want to spend 1,300 bucks for a drone, for a GoPro drone, when I can spend just 1,000 bucks for a DJI drone. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And I feel like GoPro really didn't pick up on that, and they should have. But it's not, the Karma is not a bad drone. When you compare the Karma to the Mavic, the Karma has only 20 minutes of flight time. It doesn't have sense and avoid obstacles. It doesn't have vision positioning. And it's not as small. 3 huge minuses, in my opinion, when you're comparing these two drones. It's not as small. It's not as portable. Portability is everything. That's why these drones are this size, because they want you to take it everywhere. I mean, that's a huge issue in my book. Portability. Okay? GoPro missed out on that. See, DJI was smart. They released the Mavic after the GoPro. If they would have released it before the GoPro drone, GoPro might have made some quick minor adjustments before their launch to better compete with the DJI drone. So I'm happy that, well, for them, they should be happy that they released after, because now GoPro is stuck with the Karma's design and they can't do any modifications to it until their next version comes out. So marketing standpoint, DJI did a very, very good job, right? They did a very, very good job. Any questions for the Mavic? Don't worry, I'm going to make a whole series of tutorials with it. How to properly fly, how to control the camera. when is it okay to fly, like in windy conditions, how much wind can it take. Again, it uses the same obstacle avoidance as the DJI Phantom 4, so keep that in mind. So don't both drones have different benefits for certain users? Are we talking about GoPro and DJI, or are you talking about the Mavic versus the Phantom 4? Let me know. Still image quality, 12 megapixel. The same exact image quality as the Phantom 4, 12 megapixel. It's decent. It's not bad. With the proper editing in Lightroom, I think you can make the images look sharper and smoother. So yeah, I disagree, Charlie. I think the Mavic is all around a better drone for any user. It's smaller, faster, lighter, and it has sense and avoid, both forward and downward. That's something the Karma doesn't have. Any person that wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I'm going to go fly a drone, would rather pick up the Mavic than the GoPro. Again, it's that simple. Okay? Any more questions, guys? Come on, keep them coming. Let's keep this live stream filled with information. I am a DP, so I know these cameras very, very well. So I can go really into the specifics of the software, more importantly, the specs of each camera. Because what does it matter ultimately? It matters about image quality. All right. Stabilization from both systems are very good. Karma and Mavic, excellent stabilization from both. I couldn't say one is better than the other. Image quality right now, dynamic range is better with the DJI, and noise levels are slightly, I mean, like tiny bit better with the GoPro. So I think low light is better with the GoPro than the DJI cameras, in my opinion. So the Mavic comes with a case if you upgrade to the Fly More series, which is what I did. I paid, I think, $1,300 for it. So what you get in that, you get a carrying case, you get 2 extra batteries, you get a charging hub for multiple batteries, you get a car charger, and you get an extra set of propellers. So it does come with a case if you upgrade. But don't forget, you can use a fanny pack as a case. You really can. The unit is tough, man. It's hard plastic with some metal parts and aluminum parts. You know, it's not going to break easy. So you can put it in a soft padded case. Boom, done. So when I travel, what gear am I going to take with me? I want to show you really quick what is my traveling gear. Let me go ahead and exit out of some things here. I want to show you what I'm going to be traveling with, so that way it will influence you to make the right decision. Alright, give me one more second here. I'm going to bring my laptop where my stuff is, and I'm going to show you. Okay. So let's go over here. My room is a little bit messy, so cope with me. Alright, so we have right here a Think Tank Photo Video Transport 20 case. This is the case that I will be traveling with. It's going to have a lot of my camera gear. A lot of my camera gear. My throat is drying up, so it's cracking. A lot of my camera gear. It has 3 cameras, 4 lenses. It has microphone equipment. It has a Gorilla Pod, some cables, all my batteries. I mean, it's the perfect case. It really is the perfect case. Look how, it's overhead. It's for carry-on. I can easily fit the Mavic in there. And domestic and international carry-on law, or carry-on rules, is that you can have one little suitcase, one carry-on suitcase, and one small computer bag. So I can take a lot of my camera gear with me overseas and have like a professional shoot. I just won't have any lighting with me, which is unfortunate. But I can always rent that gear. But the thing is that I can now take a drone, all my cameras, most of my lenses, all my microphones, my Gorilla Pod, batteries, put it all in one case and take it with me anywhere I go without thinking twice about, oh, is this going to fit in the plane? Are they going to have to make me check it in? Like, I'm not going to ever have to think about that. And that is such a huge thing for me because I do travel a lot. Now, how many avoid obstacle sensors does the Mavic have? Only in front. No, downward facing sensors as well. It has two. The new software now has the Mavic sense and avoid obstacles when descending, and that's important. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of having 360-degree obstacle avoidance. DJI's optical avoidance is extremely sensitive, so it won't go within, 7 or 8 feet of an obstacle. Imagine if you had all those sensors all around the drone, up, down, left, right, forward, backward. You will not be able to use that drone indoors. It's not going to want to move because it's using all the sensors around. So maybe 360-degree sense and avoid is not the best thing. However, if DJI came out with a 360-degree avoidance system and gave you the option to decide which sensors to use, that would be a different story. That would be very, very cool. So I'm geeking out on you guys. I'm sorry. I'm just such a geek when it comes to this stuff. But if you were able to, if you were able to choose which sensors to use in the software, I think that would be amazing. Because if you have sensors all around the drone, it's going to be very difficult to fly it, believe it or not. It's just not going to want to move. So think about that. That's something, you just gotta think about. So Dustin, it has downward sense and avoid obstacle sensors as well. It's software based. So I think with the Phantom 4 they can also release that too. Because the Phantom 4 has the same cameras. So I think they can easily release firmware for the Phantom that avoids obstacles going down. Okay, JJHK416. If I was backpacking, would I be able to charge the Mavic batteries with a solar charger that has 14 watts? Well, that's a good question, my friend. Let me go ahead and go on their site, look up their specs, and I'll be able to tell you. That's a very good question. 14 watts. Let me know what the voltage is, too. That's important. Dun 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 dun. Specs. Let's look at the charging here. No, 14 watts is not good enough. You need a 50 watt charger. So 14 watts is not powerful enough, unfortunately. You need 50. However, the voltage is 13.05, but 50 watts is what you need. So unfortunately, no. I'm sure Brookstone has solar chargers that are a little more powerful. But yeah. I mean, these batteries last 27 minutes. So I know that sounds short, but when you're flying, it's actually a very long time. It's completely different. When you're flying, 20 minutes goes by and it feels like it's been an hour. Really. 27 minutes, I think, is pristine. So they did a good job there. And the battery is tiny. Seriously, it is tiny. Any more questions? Any more questions? Let's keep them coming, guys. This is your time to invest in something unbelievable, so you got to make sure you learn everything about it. Operating temperature is the same as the Phantom 4. Zero to, 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. It's the same exact as the Phantom 4. Bit rate is exactly the same as the Phantom 4. Photo, they both take JPEG and DNG RAW. Video is an MP4 and MOV format, just like the Phantom. Exactly the same stabilization as well. 3-axis, pitch, roll, and yaw. So it's very, very similar. Joe Wolf, if you can fly forward, it means there is nothing behind the drone. No need for that. Exactly, but here's the thing. When you're using ActiveTrack and you're walking forward and the drone is in front of you, it's also backing up. So maybe some sensors in the back might help as well. You never know. But if you're in an open space, it doesn't matter. Getting DJI Care from Mavic. It depends how good of a drone pilot you are. If you're very good, I don't think you need DJI Care. If you're a beginner and you're struggling and this is going to be your first drone, get the DJI Care. This is only for beginners, in my opinion. You still get the basic warranty, 1-year warranty with the system. If it fails, you get a brand new one, or you get it repaired. So don't worry about that. DJI Care is mainly for beginners. Any more questions, guys? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Gonna do this live stream for a few more minutes here. Best application for the Mavic. Dude, seriously, anything. Anything. Specifically, I think it's great to do real estate with it, because you can go from outside to inside without worrying about banging into walls or narrow areas. It's such a small drone that you can go from outside to inside, boom, easily. And it's great for hiking, it's great for traveling, adventuring, it's great for anything, to be honest, because it has such a small footprint. It's so tiny. Literally fits in the palm of your hand. Charlie, how can the Phantom 4 and Mavic have the same video quality if the camera is so much smaller? It's the same, exactly. Dustin answered the question. Again, it is the same sensor size, and the same exact sensor. The sensor is tiny, guys. It's 2.4 inch, I think. Let me double check on that. 1.1, yeah. So 1 2/3 inch CMOS sensor. So same exact as Phantom 4. The only difference why the size is different is because the lens is different. Focal length is different. On the Phantom 4, it's a wider lens, it's a bigger lens. On the Mavic, it's a smaller lens, so it's more narrow. That's the only reason for the size change. Okay? Yeah, FOV will be smaller, but not that much smaller. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. It's not a deal breaker, so I wouldn't worry about that. When you're comparing it to GoPro, however, that is significant difference. GoPro is, when it comes to wide angle, GoPro is the best. What is going to keep the Phantom 4 around now with the Mavic on the market? GoPro is bigger. The Phantom 4 is bigger, so it's gonna last better in rough flying conditions. So it's basically gonna become the backup drone. If you go out to a location and the Mavic is having trouble flying in 20-mile-per-hour winds, you're gonna bring out the Phantom. I'll bring you to an example. Okay, I'll bring you to an example. I was shooting a music video at the beach. I was on the cliffside of the beach. It was windy, really, really windy. I brought out the Phantom 4. It did the shot pretty well. If I would have brought out the Mavic, I'm sure the Mavic would have really, really struggled fighting the wind. It was so strong. The wind was so strong that the propellers were spinning so fast, I thought the Phantom 4 was going to take off on its own with the wind. So in that scenario, I would not use the Mavic. I would go with the Phantom 4 or the Inspire 1, because those are bigger, much bigger drones and they can handle wind. Do that. I wouldn't fly it in higher than 15-mile-per-hour winds. This is something they tested. They just said it can fight the wind. The image quality, the stabilization wise, I wouldn't really trust it, and you really start to lose control at that time. You really don't have that control in such strong winds. Phantom 4 can fight wind a lot better. It can use its shell against the wind. The Mavic will have a very hard time doing that. So the motors are smaller, the propellers are smaller, it gives a lot less thrust, so it's going to have a harder time keeping up. So 15 mile per hour winds tops, in my opinion, just to be extra safe. You never know what may happen. 15 mile per hour tops. Okay? Just from like a scientific engineering standpoint, the thing is tiny. So you have to give it some slack, right? There's a company called Nixie. I want you guys to Google this. I'm going to spell it out for you right here in the comment section. Nixie, right? Google that company. They're coming out with a drone that is literally the size of a watch. And what's going to happen is this drone is going to fit on your wrist like a real wristwatch. And you'll be able to take off the drone, and it'll literally take off from the palm of your hand. Now, when I first saw the commercial for this, I was thinking to myself, this is the coolest drone I've ever seen on the market. This is unbelievable. It's still in, way before pre-production phase. It's still in concept. But the thing is that what's going to be my concern is how is it going to fight wind? It is literally so tiny and so lightweight. How are they figuring it's going to fight wind? So that's why I'm thinking it's going to take 3 or 4 years for them to come out with a very powerful motor that's tiny. We're talking. Maybe I have one here to show you. Hang on, give me 1 second here. Let me show you how tiny this thing is. This here is a Blade Nano. Take a look at how tiny it is. Let's take a look. Nixie is going to be, I'm thinking the propellers are going to be the same size, motors are going to be the same size, but they're going to get rid of the body. They're going to make it a flexible body so it can bend. And regarding GPS, I don't know if it's going to have GPS. I think so because it's meant for outside use. But just take a look. Here are the internals of the Blade Nano. This is all that's needed to operate a drone. This chip, the board here. That's all that is needed to operate the motors, to respond to the remote controller. This thing has a gyroscope built in. Now, I'm pretty certain that the Nixie is going to have GPS because it's going to be flying outside it and autonomously, so it has to have GPS. Their struggle right now is fitting all that into here. It's a lot of electronics into something so tiny. So I would give them about maybe 2-3 more years for them to come out with the product, or at least come out with the pre-production product. Okay, they're in the concept phase right now. So look up Nixie. It's really stunning what that company did. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Mavic. I'm going to leave up the last 2 minutes of this broadcast to you guys. Tell me what you think about the Mavic. Do you think you're going to buy it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like I said before, I bought it waiting for them to ship it. So let me know what your thoughts are about the Mavic. Like I said, if you travel a lot, if you go hiking, you should have it. All right, Charlie, let's answer your question. Let me read it out here. If you had the opportunity to get the Inspire 1 but already have the Phantom 4, would you still get the Mavic? I have the Inspire 1, Charlie. I have it. It's back here. Like I said earlier in the stream, I have the Inspire 1, the unique Typhoon H, and the Phantom 4. So, if I had the opportunity to get the Inspire 1 but already have the Phantom 4, would I still get the Mavic? Yes. But that's just me. I'm crazy for drones. It's like my new favorite thing. I'm drone crazy. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah, Mavic. Dustin, are you going to buy it? Are you going to buy the Mavic? I think you're going to buy it. You're starting to like it. I just feel bad for GoPro, you guys. I do. There was this viral photo going around on Facebook. Said, GoPro Karma, rest in peace, because the Mavic came out. So I feel bad for GoPro. They tried. If you already have a drone lord, a drone manufacturer that's considered the lord of all drones, unless you have a product that's 10 years ahead of theirs, don't release a product. And GoPro, in my opinion, messed up there. Discount as an employee of a certain food company. Nice, man. Good for you. Kelvin, intending to sell my Phantom 4 for this. Is this worth it? Okay, Kelvin, let me ask you a question, buddy. Is money a problem for you? I don't mean to like impose or anything, but if money is not an issue, I would keep the Phantom 4 and still get the Mavic. Because I always, like I said earlier in the stream, I recommend having a backup drone. You're gonna go on a shoot, and you're gonna have really rough weather conditions. So what are you gonna pull out? You're gonna pull out the Phantom 4 because it can handle wind better. And if you're crazy like me, you will pull out the Inspire 1 if the Phantom 4 can't handle it. The Inspire 1, I mean, that thing handles wind like no other drone on the market. I mean, GoPro, if you're watching, man, send me the drone. Send me the drone and do a full review on it versus the Mavic. I'm not going to invest in the Karma because it's behind Mavic. Technology-wise, it's like way behind. So, Kelvin, if money's not an issue, I would keep the Phantom 4, buddy. I'm not going to sell mine for the Mavic. I feel like I want to back up in case I go to a location and wind is just too much. Like, I'll be going to Australia soon. And when I say soon, I mean next year. And when I go, I'm just going to be taking the Mavic with me. Because it's so small. You know? So, that should be like what makes the deal for you. The portability and the amount of technology that's packed into it. That's what should be the deal for you. Yep. GoPro offer an Osmo-like stabilizer that can fly. It is the only advantage I see. Yeah, that's the only advantage I see too. But what is the advantage if you don't have a GoPro? I mean, damn. I thought that for 800 bucks they would include a GoPro with the drone. I mean, to spend 1,300 bucks, which is how much a Phantom costs, why would you spend it on something that doesn't have nearly the amount of technology packed into it? GoPro should have had the camera already either built in or just come with it. No one is going to spend $500 on the camera and another $800 on the drone. I mean, and plus accessories. Like, come on. Not going to happen. The Mavic is something else, guys. I'm looking at pictures of it right now, and I'm just so excited. Like, just seeing people hold it makes me excited because it's so small. And I'm sure next year they might come out with the Phantom X. Remember they made a concept video of the Phantom X, and that was 100% autonomous. There was no remote controller. And I'm sure that's already next year. To be honest, I'm sure that's next year. Probably March. That's when the Phantoms are announced. In around March time. So, Phantom X is the next one that's coming, guys. Phantom X. Yeah, Corey, I said it was 1,300. No. Karma is not 1099. But in the US, GoPro Karma is $799 plus a $500 camera. That makes it 1,300. Thanks, JJ. I appreciate that, bro. I like that comment. Does the Mavic have the P, A, and F modes? Yes, it does. It has the sport mode, it has attitude mode, and it has the sense and avoid, the normal mode. So yes, it does have those modes. They're not going to be called P, A, and F. I think they're slightly changing the name, but yes, they does have different modes. So don't worry about that. Any questions? Let's make this an hour-long broadcast, guys. Let's do it. 2 more minutes and 15 seconds left. What are the remaining questions? GoPro 4. GoPro 5, how much is that? Isn't it? It might be 400. I thought it was 500. I'm not talking about GoPro 4. I'm talking about GoPro 5. Let's see how much a GoPro 5 is. It's probably, so it won't be 1,300. It'll be 1,200. So it's 800 for the drone and 400 for the camera. That's 1,200 bucks. Still $200 more than the Mavic, and it's the same price as the Phantom 4, but not nearly with the same amount of technology packed into it. Why would you want the GoPro 4? It's outdated. You might as well, if you're going to invest a few $100, invest another $100 in the GoPro 5. It only makes sense, right? 2 more questions and I'm going to be signing off. 2 more questions, guys. Come on. Give it up. Let me see them questions. Come on, don't be shy. Dustin, I came out with some more videos, man, with Steadicams and stuff. Be sure to check them out. I just released one on Monday. I think if need be, I will go over more in depth on contract creation because that is very important. Corey, I am in the USA. Yes, I am. I am in the USA. Alright, guys. He'll sell his kidney to buy a Maverick. I don't think that's a good idea. Craig, let me answer your question, bud. Due to its size, does the Mavic make you totally reliant on the controller? I'm new to drones, so sorry for a basic question. Craig, no, it does not make you reliant on the controller. The Mavic is fully autonomous. It has different features that can track you. You can select the object that you want it to track, put the remote controller down, and it will track and fly autonomously. You can also set waypoints on a map in the app on your phone, and it will fly autonomously. So no, you don't technically need your remote. You can even fly the drone on your camera, on your smartphone. So you can set it to a Wi-Fi setting, and it will link directly to your smartphone. Okay? So you link it directly to your smartphone, and it's good up to 80 meters range, which is what? 250, 60 feet. So that's the range on that. So yeah, you can fly it without the remote. Alright, is it possible to unattach the camera from the Mavic? No, it is not possible to unattach the camera from the Mavic. I wouldn't see why you would need to. It's extremely portable, so there's no need to attach another camera on there. JJ, is it even possible to fly 4 miles and back within the 27? Yes, it is possible. I flew, before it was illegal, I flew my Inspire 1 over 2 miles with a TB48 battery, which gives you about 15-16 minutes of flight time. With my Phantom 4, I flew, what was it, three and back, and I still had, what, 10 minutes of flight time remaining. So it's definitely possible. Again, it all depends on the wind conditions. But again, it is now law. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot go farther than 1,400 feet away. You have to keep it within line of sight. You will get fined. You will get in trouble to do it. So I have to say that just so you get. But yes, it is definitely possible to fly 4 miles and back within the 27-minute flight time. Definitely. Definitely possible, guys. Alright, well, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I think it's been great talking to all of you, answering your questions. I will be leaving this live broadcast online just so you can use it as a reference. It is over an hour long, so you might have to skip through some things, but you know, it's good to have. So I'm gonna leave it up. All right. So if you're looking to invest on your first drone, DJI Mavic, done. Release in the middle of October. So I will do immediately an unboxing video as soon as I get it, unboxing video. And I'll do tutorials on how to fly, how to set up. Don't worry, I'll take care of you guys. You're like family to me. I want you guys to be up in the air as quick and as safe as possible, and I want you as knowledgeable as possible. I want all the other filmmakers out there to look at you and be like, wow, did you go to a film school? And you're going to be like, no, Josh Morgan taught me on YouTube. So I want that to be what you say to other filmmakers out there who are jealous of your skills. And yes, Todd, the Inspire is a beast. Alright guys, I will talk to you soon. Take care. Peace, safe flying, and adios.